Hi everybody, this is John with the Pink Caravan, and today we wanted to show you how to make a bracelet using satin ribbon and a vintage button from Czechoslovakia. And the satin's also vintage too. It's a single face satin, but you can use double face, would probably even work better. And first, I have my satin ribbon cut. I cut it at 24 inches. Probably wouldn't want to cut it under 20 inches. Maybe even a little bigger if you are making for a large size wrist. And it's a very simple design, so we thought we would like to share in case anybody would like to make it on their own. Start off by folding your ribbon in half as even as you can. On the folded end, you want to loop it around. You're tying a knot like this. You're going to pull it through, and you want the knot to be big enough to reach over the button, to reach over top of a button, so maybe just a little bit bigger. You can pull your knot in whichever direction. If you need it larger, pull it down. If you need it smaller, pull it up. And that looks about right. So tighten up your knot a little bit, and on the other end, if it's not perfectly even, it's okay, because you're going to cut it off later, but mine's pretty even. And this end's going to be threaded through the button shank on the back of the button. This could work for any button, but this design worked out very great. We'd like to try it with other buttons, haven't done it yet. So this can be a little tricky. You might need a pin or something to push it through the shank. And I did not need a pin this time. So you have your button on your ribbon, and I have both the satin sides facing outward. It can be a little tricky to have that. And next you have to measure against your wrist, or in this case I'm going to use a roll of ribbon. And you just need it big enough that you can loop your loop. You can loop your loop over the button and adjust it to whatever size you need by pulling it tight, not too tight, so that you can still get it over. And then you have to tie this into a knot to keep your button in place. Just a simple knot like you use on a shoelace to tie your shoes. But if you pull too tight, it'll shorten the length of your bracelet. So you don't want to pull it downward. You have to kind of pull three ends at once without pulling it downward. So push your button up and pull down at the same time. Get it nice and tight. Make sure it still fits. After you tighten it, make sure you can get the loop over the button, over your wrist, the button and the loop together. And you put your final knot on. And again, this could shorten the length of your bracelet if you pull it too tight. If you notice it's shortened, then you might have to redo it. but you need this to be pretty tight, otherwise your bracelet may fall apart. Like that. I just felt it shorten a little bit, but not too much. So once it's nice and tight, you want to cut these off, the loose ends, about as tight as you can without it falling apart. If you cut it too close, the knot may fall apart. So give it a little tug. Well, that fell apart, so I'll have to redo it. And that's going to shorten my bracelet since my knot came apart. So that happened because I didn't tighten it tight enough, which I didn't do so because I was afraid it would shorten the bracelet. So that's the only tricky part, I guess. And pull that through the button like so. And just two different lengths now because I had it in a knot when I trimmed it. So this bracelet's going to be a little bit shorter. Let's knot it again. Get your knot nice and tight. Give it a little yank. So maybe you give your yank before you trim it. It looks like my thread was uneven, so I yanked it straight, or my ribbon was uneven. Yanked it straight. It's tightened up good enough. I'll give it another trim. So there is the knot secure to hold the button in place. And the bracelet is complete. Let's see if it fits on our mock wrist. It's a little tight, so you're not going to get to see it clasped on that. Let's see if it works here. So that's a somewhat of an idea of what this bracelet would look like on a wrist. Without being pulled so tight, it looks a little better, and you have a very simple bracelet. It's good for good for children too. They can have an inexpensive bracelet that won't hurt them with like chain, and it's comfortable to wear. So there you have it. That's a bracelet design from the Pink Caravan. And we hope you enjoyed our video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.